Welcome to a tutorial on hotkey efficiency and some things you can do in IntelliJ to make your life an awful lot easier writing repetitive code in Flutter. So just creating widgets and wrapping widgets with other widgets and stuff like that. Here are the three things that I'm going to talk about. The first one, really quick, just to get it out of the way, is Control-D to duplicate a line of code. Or if you highlight something, it'll duplicate the part that you highlight. I'm going to use that quite a bit in this tutorial. So just if you see a line duplicate really quickly, I'm pressing Control-D. Okay, the first thing is file templates. Now these are amazing. So when you go File, New, normally you just have Dart file. And Dart file is completely blank, but it just has the extension of Dart. But when you make a new Dart file and you want a new widget, MyWidget or something, now you got to write class, StatelessWidget, and all this stuff, and then you got to implement build and all this other things. And it's a lot of boilerplate that you're going to write a whole bunch of times. And if you just want to make a widget, there's a much easier way, which is you add a new file template. So you see I have 4 already here. I have stateful screen, stateful widget, and so on and so forth. So let's look at a stateful screen. Let's just call it screen. And what it does is it'll create this file with this template already in there. Now I didn't set it up such that it names the class. You can do that if you really want. But what you can do, you just press Shift F6 and then rename this. So you know, my screen's something dumb. And it also knows to rename this guy here. So you can see I got a scaffold here with an app bar, and the body is a list view. And I've found developing Flutter, right? You make a lot of screens and you do this over and over and over again. It takes a lot of time. It's really nice to go here, edit file templates, and build some stuff so that you don't need to do this a million times. So I got one for stateful screen, which is a scaffold in a stateful widget, which is very similar, but it just doesn't have the scaffold, stateless screen with the scaffold in a stateless widget, and then stateless widget. You could add a whole bunch more if you wanted. If you're really committed to one particular state management pattern, what you might want to do is make like a new block, right? You could make class myBlockExtensBlock and put the imports there, copy and paste that code in from a file, make a template, and then the new button's right here. And then you'd be able to create blocks and things in your state management system a lot quicker too, because sometimes there is a lot of boilerplate there. Okay, so next up is the AltEnter hotkey. The AltEnter hotkey is absolutely amazing. This opens up a context menu to fix basically anything and do an awful lot of things that are just kind of repetitive, and they have like one simple solution, such as wrapping widget with another widget. So what you're going to do is just click on the widget that you want to wrap and then press Alt-Enter, and that opens up this menu here, and then you can wrap with a widget or a whole bunch of other things. So let's just wrap with a widget for right now. Let's say we wanted this in a sized box. Right, we could do that. Let's press Control-Z a couple times. Then along with that, you can wrap it with a column or a row, which adds the boilerplate of wrapping it with the children and the list, which is really nice. The next thing you can do is group widgets in a column or row. So let's make a text here. Right, and now let's put a couple of them. If I highlight them and press Alt-Enter, what I can do is wrap them with a column or a row. So if I wanted these to be in a row, boom, got them in a row. And if I wanted these ones to actually be in a column, do the same, but it's with a column. So that saves an awful lot of time wrapping things with children. Now, similarly, what you could do is wrap with a stream builder. Now, if you want to wrap with a stream builder, what this is really useful for is an awful lot of state management systems have a builder that has something like this, context and state or view model. And writing this all out from scratch is a lot of boilerplate as well. So if you're using block, for example, you could go just rename this to block builder, put in your generic types, there would be 2, and then delete that and change that to state, and then you'll be able to get a block builder really quickly. So next one is adding import. So I don't have another widget yet, so let's do one. So actually let's delete my widget there. So I got screen here, and it's called my screen. So let's just call it, let's rename it my screen again. So if we put this in main.dart, let's put it in this guy's column. Right, when you just put the class name, of course it's not imported yet, all you can do is just click on there, press Alt-Enter, and then the first one at the top is always the full path import. So what I do is just press Alt-Enter, enter really quickly, and then I got my screen imported. Along with adding imports, you can fix linting errors. So here we can see that there's a linting error because this could be const. So you press Alt-Enter, and then you get the add const modifier here. So we can press Alt-Enter again, get the const, and then you know, fix any sort of linting issues like that. There was another one over here, and that this could all be const, and it knows where to put the const modifier. See, so it knows that all of these can be const, so it puts it on the outside of the list. So you know, if we had a text here that was not constant, if it came from a variable, this wouldn't be allowed, but since they're all can be constant, it knows to throw it up there. Next thing you can do is wrap code with a control structure. For that, let's go to our, let's get rid of some of these stupid comments. Let's go here. So increment counter. So what we can do is highlight a section of code and press Alt-Enter, and then we can surround it with a block, which is curly brackets or if, while, or whatever. So let's wrap it with an if condition, and then it just puts your cursor there so you can start typing. If true, do the thing. Similarly, you could put it in a for loop or a for in loop. So bar item in some list here. Next thing you can do is convert a function from an arrow function to a code block and back. So you can see here this is a one-line function, sorry, one-line anonymous function. This could be an arrow function, arrow syntax, and what we do, excuse me, is we got to highlight exactly the anonymous function. You don't want to highlight this bracket, so we highlight the entire anonymous function. We press Alt-Enter, convert to expression body, and then we get ourselves an arrow function. And we can undo that. If you have an arrow function, you decide you want it to be more lines, you can convert that to a block body. And you just saw there, we can also convert a function to async. So if we wanted to highlight this guy, we can convert function to async, and it will just put the return type here in future void. If it returns something other than void, it'll put the type in the future, which is also quite nice. So you go here, convert to async, now it's a future int. Okay, so we've done wrap the code, async, convert a stateless widget to a stateful widget. So let's look at the screen again. So this is a stateful widget. You know what, let's make a stateless one so I can show you what it actually means. So we go stateless widget. Okay, so we got MyWidget here. Now, it's kind of annoying to actually type it out to make it stateful, because you got to make a new class and it's got to have state, and you got to put the generic types in the right spot and put the create state. All you need to do is put your cursor on stateless widget, convert to stateful widget, and then it makes you a private class here for the state. And you could remove that underscore if you feel like it, or you could just leave it there. Next one is adding missing overrides. So in order to do this, we're going to need some overrides. Here's one. So let's delete this guy. So you make your class and it needs to extend something, and you can see here there's a compile error because it's missing a implementation of something from the base class. So all you got to do is press Alt-Enter on there, create one missing override, and it will create the stub here with the throw unimplemented error, and then you can write it however you see fit. In this case, we need to just do that. Next one you can do is change string quotes and convert them to a multi-line string. So let's find a string. So here's one. So let's say that you have it where you want single quotes in the string. So it'd be more convenient to wrap that string with double quotes so that the single quotes inside the string don't need to be escaped, or vice versa. You just press Alt-Enter on that guy, and then the string quotes change from single to double. You can similarly change it to multi-line if you would like, although that's not that useful. I think this is really useful though, because now we have single quotes, so if we wanted to quote something in here, we don't need to escape those with slashes, which is quite nice. Once you put both quotes though, it can't convert it anymore, so just be aware of that, but it has to not have any quotes inside of it. Okay, well that's about it. Pretty quick tutorial here, just on things that can make you an awful lot more efficient when you're programming in Flutter. I hope you enjoyed.